So it turns out that every little county that you're talking about, or in ordinance of, in 2008 to 2022 to 2023, you pretty much talking about the county restrictions, the county regulations, the county rules, the county laws. It's very populated, it's very strict, it's very, very going at the time. So, that's pretty much part of the interstate regulations at the time. So, it's pretty much paying attention to the federal laws, the city laws, and, it's pretty much as you're doing that compared to 2008 of 2018. So, you being able to get more exempted full of your rights and liberty as you know more of what to do and how to act with your enterprise, your aquatics division, your Jackson Hewitt, Ugo, your TCS, your outreach. You being able to use that good memoir for reposts and reviews at the time. So it's pretty much working with Vimeo, Vivo, VLAD, and so forth on that way as you learn about your stop sign, yield sign, walking sign, pedestrians walking, worrying about the stoplight, the green light, the yellow light, worrying about the signs of transactions being promoted, and being able to transition, and being able to transit, and use your everyday cycle for what you need to do on your daily basis of 2026, 2086, 2056. And just being able to know more about your Buccaneers, or more about your Cardinals, or more about your Colorado at the time. So it's pretty much using your own driver's license of your own county and colony at the time, and being able to use your staying bases with your familiar region at the time. So it's pretty much being able to look at 2018 and 22, which one of your colonies was more familiar to being your likelihood of what you liked at the day. And it's pretty much where you be able to focus 60 years of your life after you know more about your colony at the time. So that's pretty much, everybody knows Indian people, everybody knows Anglo people, everybody knows federalization people. That's pretty much what we're working with as well. At Enterprise, Amazon, and Aquatics Division, Restaurant Depot, Tax Office, and Prospect as well. So it's pretty much a common law that we all have, that we all use with collaborated ratios at PFG as well. So it's pretty much another component that goes with PFG as well. So it's pretty much using at least 967 states to promote more for the local jurisdiction of 1988 to 2008 to 2018 at the time. So it's not just working for land ownership at the end of the day. It's working for property ownership as well. So it's pretty much property as well as land, and being able to use it for recreation as well. So it's pretty much dealing with the parks as well. So that's over at least 371 different components that the county uses to promote more for their land use at the time. So that's pretty much working with Big Stacy, that's working with Elizabeth Nay, that's working with Ramsey. Those three community pools have those jurisdictions more assembled to their productions at the time. So that's pretty much anybody that's getting ready to transition, or be able to transit from county to county at the time. So it's being able to use the big country of Austin, and being able to use the North Austin with the South Austin, using East Austin with the West Austin. That's pretty much propelled by my programs and intents, just because I'm part of UIL, Max Preps Pro, and a few other TCS and outreach as well. So that's pretty much, as we use those compliance, we are able to use more for our federalization services, and being able to use more for Sam Houston State University's Interscopes as where what promotion we can give to a federalized independent server at the end of the day. So that's pretty much being able to give one another a job thanks to a community reference or a community recommendation at the time. So that's pretty much what we're working with. Enterprise, PFG, Amazon, Aquatics Division. Working with those types of details. So that's at least 96,627, 48%, where we using, those descriptive languages at. So, that's pretty much where you're using your Harry Potter, your Chronicles of Narnia, your Polar Express, your Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. That's where you're using those good things at. So, it's pretty much as you being able to be accommodated to, watershed protection or, in the look of distribution services and, knowing more about your financial solutions is pretty much where Built Worth a Lot Industries and Enterprises is based. And, that's pretty much where we're using EcoLeaf mega platforms to regulate and, be able to organize and be able to support, the foundations that we used in 1987 to 2024. So, us being able to be at least $22 million ahead of the pack, 22 times before the ideal performance start. This is from 2012. This is from 2012, and it's been, since 2022. So, that's pretty much what we've been working all 2018 on, this good GDP stuff, inspiring. We had Mr. Catfish and more, and, being able to produce more of what they promote is pretty much where we found the extra time to use $98,000 of bonus interest to provide more for that type of compact. So, that's pretty much using $220 to promote more for that decent detail, as you find 267 different recommendations in that colony at the time. So, it's pretty much where you're using CR England, Averett, Arnold, being able to use an extra recommended help of its resource of Wimberley, Lubbock, Abilene, Arlington, Amarillo, Smithville, Bastrop, being able to use those local metropolitan cities is pretty much where we want to be able to learn more about the day in the future at the time. So, that's pretty much using PFG collaborated ratios, purple, green, and white, and, being able to use the prime general formation for that detail. So, it's pretty much working with at least 987 ways how to collaborate, more sciences within that jurisdiction, within that compound. It's pretty much working with at least 331 compounds of truck and, being able to work with Cadillac designs as well with CT6, ATS, and CTS at the time. I was working with 2018 to 2024. A nice urban edition vehicle that comes with it. As you get more concentrated with 2014 and get concentrated with 2032 as well. So it's pretty much working with a full-time distribution service. That works just like PFG, YRC, or even like ABF at the time. So, it's pretty much we're using those interests, 367 times, 96,000 times, 969 times, 369 times, being able to use a full circuit of solar arrays for that good stuff. So, it's pretty much using every 3 months to 369 months to 36 months. And, it's pretty much using a three solar array, a 3-point solar array to make that happen at the time. So, it's pretty much using 36 hours, 360 hours, 3,600 hours to promote more for 317 months being produced at the time. So, it's being able to use a little bit of Eco Herb 747 with Eco Leaf Maker platforms, which is, making at least 90,000 a month off of each component that delivers products at the time. So, it's just working on how you eat and how you how you measure your consumption rates, after 9 weeks to 9 months, after that's known to be one of the top priorities of the day. So that's just pretty much getting at least 969% interest coming from enterprise endoscopes, and taking at least 3 hours out of enterprise endoscopes for at least 30 hours. So that's pretty much using that a week, and being able to use that for at least 300 hours at the time. So that's pretty much as you making more for corn, rice, and making more for catfish, wings, chicken tenders. Using the majority of that good source for Arizona Cardinals, and more for Green Bay, and more for Tennessee Titans, and more for Kansas City Chiefs, and more for Tennessee, and more for that common famous good at purple, green, and white systematic situations at the time. So I was just working on $330 million in revenue at the time. So that's pretty much what Steve Adler is talking about. That's what Greg Abbott is talking about. That's what Mitt Romney is talking about, and that's what Lloyd Doggett is talking about. So it is a big common dimension of its democracy at the time. So that's pretty much where we're being able to be more towards our federalization services, and being able to use our upkeep of hygiene collections, and being able to use more for our decor at the time. So it's pretty much working with $9,600 decor, coming from Calvin Klein, Dior, and Calvin Klein, Dior, and Izod at the time. So it's pretty much where you're getting more with your fancy outings at the time. So it's pretty much working with 96 years, 36 years, 86 years of compliance at the time. So it's pretty much working with 9,600, 8,600, 2,600. So that's pretty much what gives you more interest toward being more intuitive with squares, 30 squares, 90 squares, 60 squares, instead of just a normal square root. It's pretty much the difference between Jackson Hewitt and Mr. Catfish and Moore at the time. So it's pretty much working from 2008 to 2022, and being able to conserve a $33 million investment, for just the population of good at the time. So it's being able to eat for fun, eat a good meal for fun at the end of the day, and be able to have a good appetite, and think and cheers at the time. So that's pretty much what we wanted to do for the next 367 months. So that's pretty much working from 2006 to 2026, and getting through the month of the season as we get more reference from revenue and reference forms at the time. So it's being able to know more about congressional law orders, tax references, and congressional law orders, and being able to work with bill statements as well. So that's working with 96, 80, 86 different bill statements, going throughout the week, whether it's, what the person wanted that everybody wants, that gets ordered out, more than 96, 86, 60 times. That bill statement promotes more for the free trade investments. So, that's pretty much where we're using a certain term of free trade investments to, be able to use more for the rights of the individual that's at the restaurant or on the trailer, whichever one we're calibrating with. So, I was using 96,000 dimes to promote more for the captions of those manners as you get with your district managers of, producers and co-producers at the time. So, I like to talk to the co-producers because they're more liable and have more leisure. So, that's pretty much where you're working with 90 hours instead of 30 hours, and, being able to work with a full-time communication of, how to get more availed toward your space and land of your district coordinator at the time. So, it's pretty much working with 96, 64, 90 different coordinates along the way, and, being able to put a large dime in at least 980% of sufficiency at the time. So, that's pretty much where you're being able to use more for your registration and more for your verification. Using more for, your career objectives. So, that's pretty much using 16 years old to 32 years old, and, being able to use those recommendations for, being able to accommodate yourself to the right methods of statistics at the time. So, whatever it is, PFG collaborated ratios, is more likely to put you on that 967 route, and that's pretty much where you're using more towards your career investments toward that Lubbock to that Abilene or to that Brenham swings at your time. So, that's pretty much working with the 2018 Chevy Tahoe that I'll be talking to like that, giving a good example of, what to do, where to go, and, what to hang out with, in the future beginning. So, that's pretty much getting Mr. Catfish Interscope's statistic with, Austin Parks and Recreation at Aquatics Division. So, that is working with, Little Stacy, Big Stacy, Brentwood, Ramsey, Shipe, Northwest. You're working with those pools as well as a general state. So, it's pretty much as you're working on a 3, 6, 6, 7 position, and, knowing more about your locations and coordinates is pretty much where you want to be able to add a design for the description of the location, and, being able to share more descriptions as far as, what they do and how they react to time, and, what the topic is about those types of what's the general topic about those types of recreation pools being out of their area like that. So, it's pretty much working with superintendent, governor, lieutenant, working with those people like that. Whether it's a 6.4, 5.4, 3.4, we want to be able to include those details within their astonishment, and, give them more compliance of their components at the time. So, it's pretty much working with general topics all over the place at that time. And, that's what I introduced from Rosewood to Givens to Dottie Jordan, and, be able to import different context clues of, being able to make more FAQs for ourselves. So, it's pretty much as we make more FAQs, we build, more of a district coordinator for ourselves. So, that's pretty much working with, who asked that question, where is that question being examined at, and, being able to know more about that registration, just because it might help any individual with any type of unit at the time, especially because this is a different time. You're dealing with different percentages, different percentages of calibration, categories, and, population at that time. And, it's pretty much where you're just being able to use, more of your common sense of your recommended placements at the time, whether it's opposition or occupation that you're looking for at the time. So, it's being able to know more resources from Deep Eddy versus Rosewood, or, any other Big Stacy or Ramsey or, Shipe at the time, where, it's only limited, FAQ is limited right now. So, it's just my turn to post it up, and, be able to bonus script it up with full of new meanings and new questions requiring, more about watershed protection, aquatics division, depthability of pool. That's more of the general state. And, what we're doing is trying to figure out the state's opposition at the time, what's different from Elizabeth Nate than, what's different at Ramsey and Northwest at the time. So, it's being able to figure out state questions state-based questions based off of the environment, or based off the population, or based off the demographics on the state. So it's being able to hook up your SHSU Interscopes context clues, and using more of 2012 with 2036 information stations of that gratuity. And that's just being able to know more about the Charger, knowing about the Challenger, knowing about the Lexus, knowing about that urban new car that comes out. So that's pretty much where you want to be able to get that out. And especially that Lexus GX 350, we want to get that out pronto, 2018 to 2021 at the time. So that's pretty much where we want to get one of those out, and be able to use that for the advantage of being able to migrate from different environment to environment at the time of Elizabeth Ney's paradise. So my depositions are based in Elizabeth Ney environment. So that's pretty much where we're using Big Stacy, Enfield, and Ramsey to be a general state of deposits at the time for DWL Industries at the time. So that's pretty much where we're using my pool occupation to promote more for the district coordinator of this good stuff that we use during the summers, during our happy hours and events, party events and stuff like that. So it's pretty much as we're making more for a certain branch of companies, that's pretty much just working with its own districts at the time. So my district is 367, and out of 6,600, you pretty much dealing with different districts of of requirements. They have to work with at least three of those digits from those companies, since this is a federal, state, and a local deposit of those suches. So it's pretty much where you're using those for that amount as well. So it's pretty much using 98, 28, 38 members to recommend more of my recommendations that are not only exposed to PFG collaborations at the time. So that's pretty much where you're using PFG collaborated ratios, using Team Mobile Stretch, you're using that's pretty much what you're using at the time of the day, Team Mobile Stretch. And that's pretty much as you're making more definition toward that definition, you find in group networks that be able to rely, whether it's Brenham or Wimberley or Waco at the time. So that's pretty much what we're working with as far as that go.